You know that nagging voice in your head? The one that's whispering, you should be productive, even when you're on empty. That's not you. Or how about that wave of anxiety that hits you on a Sunday afternoon? That feeling that you should be getting a head start on the week instead of just reading a book. If you feel that, you've been conditioned to tie your self-worth to your output. But here's the secret. Rest isn't a luxury. It's your greatest weapon for building unshakable inner strength. This feeling, this productivity guilt, it's not a personal flaw. It's a programmed response wired into us by society and maybe even our childhoods. It's a twisted way of thinking where any time not spent on a measurable task feels like a personal failure. And it's destroying our well-being, trapping us in a cycle of anxiety, half-hearted rest, and burnout. So today, we're going to break down exactly why your brain fights relaxation and give you a clear, actionable plan to reclaim your downtime without an ounce of shame. So, where does this crushing pressure come from? Why does the simple act of sitting on the couch feel so wrong? It's not a flaw in your character. It's a feature of the world we live in. First, let's call it what it is. The hustle trap. We are drowning in a culture that glorifies being busy. Social media is just a highlight reel of achievement, spammed with hashtags like rise and grind and hashtag no days off. It creates this constant sinking feeling that if you stop, you'll be left behind. And this isn't just in our heads, it's a massive issue. For example, a Gallup poll found that nearly 2/3 of full-time workers experience burnout. The message we get is clear. Your value is defined by what you produce. And when your entire identity gets wrapped up in your output, rest starts to feel like a dangerous indulgence, not a biological need. The price for falling into this trap is devastatingly high. We're not just talking about feeling tired. We're talking about a psychological assault on your body. When you're constantly in go mode, your body is stuck in a low-grade fight or flight response. Studies show that chronic burnout jacks up your blood levels of cortisol, the primary stress hormone. This constant stress doesn't just make you irritable, it can weaken your immune system, mess with your memory and attention, and dramatically increase your risk for anxiety. Your brain, under all that pressure, starts to lose its ability to make clear decisions. So that mental fog you feel when you're overworked, that's a real, measurable decline in your cognitive function. Now, let's dig a little deeper, back to where it all began. For many of us, this programming started with our childhood blueprint. I want you to maybe even close your eyes. Think back to when you were a kid. Were you praised for being a good helper, for staying busy, or for your grades? So many of us learned early on that being productive is how you earn love and approval. If affection was tied to achievement, you might have learned that you have to constantly earn your worth. This carves a deep, subconscious rule into your brain. I am worthy only when I'm doing something. This belief is tangled up with perfectionism, where any moment of rest feels not just like laziness, but a moral failure. The guilt you feel today is the adult version of that kid who was desperate for validation, terrified of being seen as lazy or not good enough. This is conditioning, not your character. So we're stuck in kind of a cultural trap and programmed from childhood to feel guilty about resting. It sounds pretty hopeless, right? But what if the solution isn't to work harder, but to completely redefine what rest even is? What if rest isn't the opposite of work, but the partner of work? This isn't just a nice thought. It's backed by science. Neuroscience shows that when your brain is in a resting state, it fires up a system called the default mode network. This network is absolutely critical for consolidating memories, thinking about the future, and sparking creativity. It's the neurological reason you get those brilliant aha moments in the shower or on a long walk. When you step away from a problem, your conscious mind gets a break, but your subconscious keeps working, connecting the dots and finding solutions you never would have seen otherwise. Rest is not idleness. It's essential processing time. Look at the software company Basecamp. They famously experimented with a 4-day work week and discovered their employees were more focused, refreshed, and efficient. They proved that a rested mind isn't a lazy mind. It's a more powerful one. We have to shift our entire perspective. In a world that demands constant motion, choosing to be still is a radical act. It's a rebellion against the toxic idea that your worth is measured by your level of exhaustion. Rest isn't a reward you get after you've burned out. It is a strategic, non-negotiable part of a successful and healthy life. Okay, knowing why you feel this way is half the battle. Now for the other half, how to actually fix it. It's time to unlearn the guilt. This isn't about just trying to relax. It's about systematically taking apart the guilt machine in your brain. Here's your 4-step plan to get started. Step 1. Identify and name your guilt. The first step to disarming any negative thought is to drag it into the light. When that anxious, shameful feeling creeps in, just stop and notice it. Say to yourself, I'm feeling productivity guilt. This is just a programmed response from hustle culture. Labeling the emotion creates distance. It stops being an overwhelming truth and becomes something you can simply observe. You are not the guilt. You are the one noticing the guilt. If you want to take it a step further, try keeping a rest journal for a week. Just jot down your guilt level from 1 to 10 before and after you take a break. You'll start to see proof that even if you feel guilty at first, you always feel better after resting. Step 2, reframe and schedule rest. You'd never feel guilty about a meeting in your calendar, right? It's time to treat rest with that same respect. The best rest is intentional, not the kind that only happens when you finally collapse from exhaustion. So start small. Block out 15 minutes in your calendar to drink your coffee without looking at your phone. Schedule a 30-minute walk after work. Treat these appointments as non-negotiable. This simple act makes rest legitimate. It reframes it from wasted time into a strategic investment in your well-being. When your brain starts screaming, I'm being lazy, you need to talk back with, no, this break is helping me be more focused and creative. Step 3, practice intentional rest, both active and passive. Not all rest is created equal. Mindlessly scrolling through social media might feel like a break, but it often leaves us feeling more drained and anxious. The key is to choose things that actually recharge you. We need 2 kinds of rest. First, there's passive rest, like a short 20-minute nap, which studies show can seriously boost your concentration. But there's also active rest, like walking, reading a book, or diving into a hobby. These activities can spark creativity and release feel-good endorphins that lift your mood. A great way to do this is with a sprint and rest cycle. Our brains naturally work in cycles of about 90 minutes of high focus, followed by a need for a 15 to 20-minute break. So try it. Work in a focused 90-minute burst, then take a real break, completely away from your screen. This rhythm works with your brain's natural energy, not against it. And step 4, create a permission ritual and find your people. That voice of guilt can be loud, so you need a louder voice of permission. Try this. Get a Post-it note and write, I have permission to rest. Rest is fuel, not failure. Stick it on your computer monitor, your mirror, your fridge. Somewhere you'll see it every day. This physical reminder helps rewire that deep, invisible belief that you don't deserve a break. Finally, you can't do this alone. Talk to a friend, a partner, a coworker who gets it, or a Forte coach. Sharing your goal to embrace rest helps normalize it. Having someone in your corner who also values well-being over burnout provides the encouragement you need when that old guilt starts creeping back in. If this plan is hitting home and you're ready to finally break the cycle of burnout and shame, hit that subscribe button or join us on getforte.com. This channel is all about building sustainable success and inner strength without sacrificing yourself to get there. So come join our community here on YouTube or join our platform at Forte. That nagging voice telling you to be productive is powerful, but it is not telling you the truth. It's an echo from a culture of burnout and a relic of your past conditioning. You have the power to write a new story. Remember this, the guilt you feel when you relax is learned, which means it can be unlearned. Rest is not your enemy. It's not a sign of weakness. It is a fundamental, non-negotiable part of a creative, productive, and joyful life. You are allowed to be still, even when things are not finished. That isn't failure. That is an act of profound self-respect. So take a deep breath and give yourself permission to truly, deeply, and unapologetically rest. That's a rep.